Hi, welcome to Doll Alchemy. For today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I was working on a Goth Girl summer series, but after my Bride of Frankenstein doll, I was looking to do something a little bit different. And then a couple of weeks ago, Netflix put out the Masters of the Universe Revelations series, and there was a huge outcry, upsetness on the internet about it. For what it's worth, I thought it was fine. It just wasn't what it was advertised as being. But one of the big beefs that people had were with Teela's redesign. So Teela's probably the most memorable female character aside from Evely in the original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series. It's one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and I had been meaning to make a doll of Teela for a while now. So this seemed like the perfect time. So I started out with one of the static bodies from the Ever After High ballerina line. I'm just trying to get them out of my stock. And I painted the body white, and I'm going to be making most of her accessories and the top part of her outfit out of Worbla. So, last touches on her outfit, I bulked up the area around her legs and over her boobs in epoxy sculpt to smooth them out, and I trimmed some boots and glued them directly onto her legs so that I wouldn't have to worry about them shifting or falling off. And I used ribbon for her upper armbands just because the bulkiness of the Worbla wouldn't allow her arms to fold down properly if I did it in Worbla. I painted over the red boots with orange and Angelus paint, and then I also dusted it with chalk pastels just to give it a little bit of more of a textured look. And I made the furry tufts on the top of her boots out of acrylic yarn. I taped off any of the areas that were white because I then I dusted the tan parts of her outfit with dark brown pan pastel. And in my experience, pan pastels will wind up everywhere. So if you have something that you really don't want to alter the color on, you should cover it up. Moving on to her hair. Teela's hair is kind of weird. It's like up, and it seems like she has bangs that are just kind of like swept back on her forehead. So I made a makeshift updo, and then I moved on to her face, which is layered in levels of chalk pastels and watercolor pencil. And then eventually acrylic paints for her eyes and lips. I think the face-up came out really good. Sort of unintentionally like Lucille Ball, but I'll go with it. I moved on to making her headdress out of Worbla. I doubled up on the layers just so that it wouldn't be quite so flimsy when I stuck it into her head. I also attached part of a pin so that I wouldn't have to worry about it moving around. I also off-screen made her shield out of Warbler and some jewels. And this last weird detail, that dangly thing on the front of her outfit, out of a jewel and some ribbon. Forgive me, I had a lot of fun with the panoramic backgrounds from the show and the green screen feature in this video. So this is her complete against the comparison picture. Obviously, because of the way that her arms are, she's holding her shield and the sword in the wrong hands, but just forget that. And bonus round, I have two other dolls that I've made from He-Man. The first of which was the Sorceress, who, spoiler alert to a 40-year-old show, the Sorceress is actually Teela's birth mother. I cut and burned over 300 individual feathers out of different ribbon for her feathered cloak, I guess it is, as well as her, like her bodice also has feathers on the bottom. Much easier to make was Evil-Lyn, who is my favorite character from He-Man and Masters of the Universe. And she was made pretty crudely. It was one of my first dolls, but I still think she holds up. Someday I might make her a little more, you know, fancified and detailed, but, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I think they look great together, like as a cohesive unit. If you couldn't tell, I have a lot of random He-Man paraphernalia around my house. And surprise! I also have a She-Ra doll. She-Ra, of course, is He-Man's sister. She has her own spin-off show. She-Ra is also one of the earliest dolls that I made, so again, she's pretty simplistic compared to some of my other dolls. So I will probably work on her, you know, to spruce her up in, you know, at some point in the future. But I just thought it would be a shame not to include her in this video. So thank you for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content, please like, subscribe, share my channel with all your friends on social media. Thanks again.